Welcome to Tea Time, where I talk about something I care about under 5 minutes. The joke is, it's never under 5 minutes. So video game industry is pretty much established right now with your big publishers, franchises and brands. You know what big and small games you want to play, and you know what separates them. Each franchise has its own unique flavor that can't be replicated anywhere else. But as time went on, and with gaming industry evolving, for better or worse, I kinda feel like that everything is slowly starting to feel the same, no matter what franchise or genre you're playing. It's really hard to produce unique or good games these days, and not because the developers or publishers are cutting corners somewhere in their development. I don't think that's the case. It's quite the opposite. We're probably experiencing the peak of video game development right now because we are getting a lot of good games in the last couple of years, so that's definitely not the issue. But the issue is, believe it or not, there's way too many games out there, and the technological advancements that were made to these games are insane. We're mid-maxing the technology we have right now to its limit. We could have never imagined that our games could look this good, this smooth, this entertaining. And like I said, there's a lot of good games out there. Every week there's some sort of game release, and for anyone that wants to get into gaming right now, it's like the perfect time because the options are limitless. And now you're probably thinking, but how's that a bad thing? Well, it's not on paper, but it's creating this weird side effect of video games feeling the same. Every new game, no matter the budget, it's usually something we've seen before in some shape or form in other games. Maybe a little bit better, depending on the genre. And you might ask, why is that? Well, it's not like the game developers are not trying to be unique and everything like that, but we heard so many stories from publishers and studios, big and small, that being unique is very risky because it's expensive. Having a good game is not enough these days, and it takes a lot of luck to achieve some success, because the competition these days is insane. Not everyone has the time or money to play all these games that are coming out, and if they do, they are part of a very hardcore demographic. There are a lot of factors that studios and publishers can't control, no matter how careful and analytical they might be. On top of that, the software to develop these games is progressing every day. Almost anyone can make a video game these days and actually make a living out of it. But the technology has not. There's still 120 million PlayStation 4s in the wild that are still operational in some shape or form, releasing new games and everything, according to Sony. A console that is more than a decade old, and there's only like 60 million PlayStation 5s since 2020. And there's no reason for any regular gamer to upgrade their console when their favorite game or franchise, whatever the case may be, is still running just fine on their old generation consoles, especially with the live service games. And not only that, how much detail do we actually need in our games? The famous quote, 60 times the detail, comes to my mind. If we're going for a semi-realistic aesthetic, developers know how to optimize their games for old generation consoles or mid-range PCs to look amazing. Battlefield 1 from 2016 or Modern Warfare 2019 still looks visually amazing to this day, and new games are no different. And that is just a visual thing. I'm not even mentioning the gameplay mechanics that I've always optimized all the time. So why make anything new when we already have proven game design philosophies that are working just fine on any platform? The hard part is to make sure your player base stays with you. And not only that, a lot of people can't even afford a new console because it's just an overpriced mid-range PC at this point. Now, of course, what about the PC market? They can run games that are more unique and more demanding, right? Sure, but when you're producing a video game that has an insane budget, you want your game to be available almost everywhere, so you can actually get your money back, by selling the copy to that platform. So more people can actually play your game, let alone pay for the copy of the game that is not free to play, if that's the way they choose to go with. We're literally mid-maxing all available game genres and game design philosophies because technology is not moving forward fast enough for, with our progress. There's this game mode called Resurgence that is available in Call of Duty Warzone, and it's basically a fast-paced Battle Royale-like mode with respawns, and it's a nice change of pace whenever you play in a Battle Royale mode non-stop. And it's been very popular with the Call of Duty audience. And just a month ago, Fortnite has added its own similar mode of their own called Reload, which is basically follows the same premise. Smaller map, Battle Royale mode with respawns. And then we have Apex Legends also added the same type of mode to their game. It's called Revival. All these three games are the biggest Battle Royale free-to-play games out there. They have their own live service available on all platforms, including all generation consoles, and they're basically copying each other. I mean, it's not a bad thing if you're a fan of those particular games because competition is important to make sure, you're getting a good game non-stop and good service with that. But you start to notice that everything is starting to feel the same, let alone the skin and economy that makes all the games feel identical regardless of their gameplay mechanics. Long story short, video game industry progressed a lot and it brought a lot of new games for us to play, but we just don't have the time or money to experience all of it. And because we don't have the money or time to experience all these games, game studios and publishers are trying to improve and change already existing game design philosophies just to give us a chance, just to give you a chance, to a player that doesn't really care about that game, to play that game. Because it would feel familiar to you and safe to you to try it, while still running on the game on the same piece of hardware that was designed back in 2010. Just think about it, PS4 is basically Gen Alpha. Think about that for a moment. Anyway, that's all I want to say for this quick video. Games feel familiar, but we're literally trying to squeeze the last remaining juice out of this industry. And I'm actually really interested how we're gonna pivot in the future, so it's gonna be interesting times. Let's keep an eye on that. Anyway, my name is Tom, also known as the Lanky Soldier. Thank you for watching, check out my Patreon, and have a good day.